net metered solar program where you generate energy on your rooftop and you are credited with the power you generate back onto your meter. You will learn about both of these programs and how to turn your property into a revenue generating asset and or reduce your energy bill and provide clean energy for LA. For the past decade, the Los Angeles Business Council has helped promote the economic benefits and social benefits of solar for property owners through these rooftop programs. The Feed and Tariff program began in 2013 and now has over 90 megawatts online and interconnected. We're shooting for that 100th megawatt, Marty, I hope this year. And together with the DWP net metered program, it has made LA the #1 solar city in America. For each megawatt of solar produced, it creates between 19 to 30 direct and indirect jobs in LA, with tens of millions of dollars of new investment, and it reduces significant amount of CO2 emission. In addition to new jobs throughout LA, new revenue for property owners, and significant CO2 reductions, 40% of the FIP projects are located in disadvantaged communities with high levels of unemployment and contamination and in need of clean energy replacements. At the LABC, we have been focusing our outreach and engagement efforts in the Northeast Fernando Valley alongside with our partners, Pacoima Beautiful, the Trust for Public Land, Grid Alternatives, LA Conservation Corps, UCLA, community partners, and the City of LA. And thanks to the support of Wells Fargo Foundation, we have been doing this work in the Northeast Valley since 2018. Today, we are encouraging property owners to join us and learn more about why going solar may benefit their bottom line. Please feel free to ask any questions from the DWP staff or the solar providers who are experts in their fields. If you'd like to be connected to a solar provider to learn more about it, we would be glad to make any introduction. Before we begin, I want to note that you can type any questions you have on the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen, and we will relay them to the participant after the presentation. I'd also encourage you to introduce yourself in the chat with your name and company. You will be able to access this recording of the workshop after the event on our LABC website at labusinesscouncil.org. To start off the program, please welcome Greg Shurkin. He is Senior VP of Social Impact and Sustainability at Wells Fargo. He is a good friend of the LABC and has been an active and supportive leader in wanting to reach our goal of bringing clean energy and good investment and jobs to the Pacoima area. Greg.
Thanks very much, Mary. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining today's workshop. It's an honor to be with you today, especially with Councilmember Rodriguez and all the other distinguished speakers. Wells Fargo has been proud to support the work that LABC has been doing in the communities of Pacoima and Sun Valley. We believe that long-term place-based investments are the most effective way to create equity and opportunities for economic development. In the past year alone, Wells Fargo has made approximately $700,000 in grants to create green jobs and provide environmentally sustainable solutions in the San Fernando Valley and throughout Southern California, focusing on diverse communities, which have been historically under-resourced and undercapitalized. A good example of our investments includes our work with Grid Alternatives. Hi, Alex. With whom we have provided over $400,000 in the past 3 years. In fact, in 2021, we helped Grid provide 30 homeowners in the Northeast Valley with solar panel upgrades and or solar systems to provide an average impact equal to 40 tons of greenhouse gases eliminated over their system's lifetime, or the equivalent of planting nearly 1,000 trees. This is reflective of Wells Fargo's larger commitment, where we've invested $500 billion into wind, solar, and other sustainable finance projects by 2030. And on top of the more than $160 billion we've invested in sustainable businesses and projects since 2012. We realize that if we're going to make a difference and achieve the socially and environmentally equitable prosperity in the future, we all need to work together. And I very much hope that you'll be part of this effort. And now it's my sincere honor to introduce a good friend to LABC and a champion for clean energy and job creation, Councilmember Monica Rodriguez. Councilmember Rodriguez was elected on July 1st, 2017 to the Los Angeles City Council. to represent the district she's called home her entire life and becoming the third Latina to serve on the council in the city's history. Since taking office, she's secured over 183 million in infrastructure projects and expanded city services to a district that has been under-resourced for decades. Councilmember Rodriguez currently chairs the Public Safety Committee and is a member of the Budget and Finance, Homelessness and Poverty and Planning and Land Use Committees. As chair of MRCA's Upper Los Angeles River and Tributaries, she led the creation of a regional plan creating a recreation and conservation blueprint for increasing access to over 1.53 million residents currently residing in park poor communities. As Vice President of LA City Board of Public Works, Councilmember Rodriguez helped to overhaul the city's procurement contracts for small, minority, and women-owned businesses and developed a public-private partnership with the city's Free Rain Barrel initiative. Councilmember Rodriguez has brought the same passion for business solutions to clean energy initiatives in her district. Thanks to her leadership and partnership, the state of California has provided millions of dollars worth of clean energy projects in the Northeast San Fernando Valley throughout the Transformative Climate Communities Grant. Without further ado, it's my sincere pleasure and honor to present and introduce Councilmember Rodriguez. Councilmember.
Thank you so much, Greg, and thank you so much for being a partner with us. Even when we first didn't get that TCC grant, Wells Fargo has been a really important part of how we are delivering for the Northeast Valley. So I just want to thank you for that collaboration. And of course, LABC, thank you for working alongside me and my colleagues to help make sure that we're bringing these opportunities to the Northeast Valley, because as we've all made note, and I want to thank the participants that are on the Zoom today. We have, we can set targets and milestones and objectives that we want to achieve with respect to clean energy, but we can't achieve it in absence of your participation. And so I want to thank all the members that are on the Zoom today to learn more about these opportunities, because you play a pivotal role with how we not only clean up our neighborhoods, help bring in clean energy, how we monetize that as an asset and value for you, but more importantly, how we better improve the quality of life for all of our residents here in the Northeast San Fernando Valley. We can't do it without you. So I want to thank you for making the time to be on this Zoom today to learn more about these incredible opportunities, the resources that are being made available, so that you can identify the financial benefits associated with following suit, helping to be part of our green new solutions here in the city of Los Angeles. And, we have some incredible partners here. But, I want to just put in the context for people who may not realize it, because, as a native Angelino and as a lifelong Valley girl, any of us that have grown up in the Valley, we've seen and experienced the incredible heat. Poorer neighborhoods, by and large, are under-treed, lack of tree canopies. It's just we have hotter climates, particularly out here in the San Fernando Valley. And so we need to do more to mitigate that. And all of these efforts combined, when we're doing tree plantings, while we're doing cool pavements, while we're doing these new green energy resources, are going to go a long way in helping us to help mitigate the effects of climate change. And so we want to invite everyone to be part of the solution here in the San Fernando Valley. I'm very excited that we just launched a pilot that we're going to be introducing in the subsequent weeks that are going to be coming to Pacoima, where we're going to be applying cool street pavement in an area around Humphrey Park. These are some of the other improvements that we're going to do that are part of the multiple layers of what we're trying to bring here and invest into our community so that residents will have the inherent benefits. But again, my thanks to all of you for being part of this. I want to take special thanks to of course, LABC, Pacoima Beautiful, that's always a partner with me in my office, Grid Alternatives, the Conservation Corps, and the Trust for Public Land, and of course, Wells Fargo. But again, this is the call to action here, folks, is that we've got resources for you. We've got the tools in place to help you identify the best solution for you to be part of how we green the Northeast Valley. So I want to continue to impress upon you, take advantage of this opportunity. These resources are here, And it is, in fact, going to be an asset for you, depending on whether you're a business owner or you're a property owner in a multifamily housing development. These are opportunities that we've made available, so we want to make sure you take full advantage of it. And with that, it is my pleasure to now turn it over to our general manager and chief engineer, I believe that was his official title, Marty Adams, who is our general manager of the Department of Water and Power. And Marty's been an incredible champion for clean energy programs and environmental justice, leading the tripling of the feed and tariff program to 450 megawatts to our total capacity. And DWP has risen to a position as a leading municipal agency in the nation on clean energy, with several solar programs available, the release of the LA 100% renewable energy study that will transition Los Angeles to 100% renewable energy by 2035. Marty is currently overseeing the department's strategic long-term resources plan process, which is identifying implementation pathways for LA 100. Local solar programs will be a very big part of the in-basin energy portfolio. And I just want to thank Marty for his continued leadership and work. He's a long-termer with our Department of Water and Power, which makes him the best to run this very important department for our city. So with that, I turn it over to Marty.
Thank you very much. I will tell you that I love sharing the stage with Councilmember Rodriguez because she is a woman of action, not of fanciful thoughts and wild ideas, but actually getting things done. And so I appreciate you convening this with LABC today, because we're about talking to the folks on the audience here about how you can be part of that action, how you can be part of not just thinking about the future, not just looking at how solar is going to play an impact in the city of LA, how we're going to get to a green future, but how you can actually participate yourself in really moving this forward. And as the council member said, really improving your own neighborhood and the environment that of your own area there, and improving the air quality, every aspect of it, as well as lowering your power bills. And so I want to talk to you today about what the Department of Water and Power is doing to actually, where the rubber hits the road, really putting things into practice, and how you can participate with us in our new programs. So if I go to the next slide, please. First, I want to talk a little bit background, talk about our accomplishments and the things that we've done, so you know where we stand right now. So it's almost old news. Gosh, we beat the state's goal of 40%, or probably our 40% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions. We did that way back in 1990. So we were probably before 1990 levels. We did that 14 years ago. So we've been way ahead of the goal in reducing our carbon footprint, but that's not enough. Obviously, we know that we have goals now in the city to be 100% clean energy by 2035. And we have a big road to get there. Already, look at 2021. We had 36% renewables, 55% clean energy, which means carbon free. I will tell you that when the Red Cloud Wind Project, which is listed on the slide there, went online, we celebrated a few weeks ago in New Mexico. First of all, New Mexico was the 6th state that Los Angeles gets its power from, but that was the largest and most cost-effective wind generating project in the country. And that added another 6%. So we are over 40% renewable energy on average in the system right now, and over 60% carbon free. So basically, 2 out of 3 times you flip the switch in Los Angeles, you're having clean energy. And so we're well on our road to where we need to be, but we need your help. So we did a big study, the LA 100 study, and I'll touch on that a little bit more later, but we talked about how we get to the future. One of the things we need is more local generation of energy, more clean energy locally. And so in the green tab, we talk about expanding our local solar and feed and tariff programs. And I'm going to talk more about that. So that's what's highlighted in green. And then also just in terms of our goals, we had a goal to get to 10,000 commercial electric vehicle chargers by 2022. We met that 20 months ahead of schedule. We're now designated the #1 EV-friendly city by PlugShare. And so, we know that's not enough. We know that there's a lot more vehicles coming, a lot more chargers have to be put in place, and the challenge is real, but we're way well on the road moving ahead toward getting to where we want to be to have the clean energy future. So let's talk more about that, and then how you can participate in that. So next slide, please. So our goals. So I talked about 100% carbon-free supply by 2035. So this was part of the mayor's, plan for a green LA. The city council approved this goal. It's now the goal of the President of the United States, trying to push what was 2045 down to 2035, and to try to achieve that really clean energy source so we can really make a difference with climate change before it gets too late. And our interim goal is 80% renewable energy, and that's 97% carbon free by 2030. And I can tell you right now, we're well on our way to that. The LA 100 study that was mentioned earlier. So the LA 100 study was a study done with the national lab, as the most comprehensive study ever done on how we could achieve 100% renewable energy and what's the pathway to get there. And so that study that lasted several years actually told us that not only can we get to our goal, but we can get there by 2035. And there's certain pathways that we have to take. And of those pathways, there's certain investments that we need no matter which direction we go to get there. We call them no regrets projects, things that we have to do regardless to get to that energy future that we all want. Can I take the next slide, please? So one of the things that's key to us is that we need more local energy generation. We have a lot of energy that comes across many miles. We have hydropower from the Pacific Northwest. We have coal that's going to become gas, becoming hydrogen, coming from Utah. We have now wind from New Mexico. We have a bit of nuclear from Arizona. We have power coming in across hundreds of miles into LA, but we know we need more energy created right here in the LA basin. And so all the studies showed that we need another 100,000, that's too much. Well, we need 1,000 megawatts of local solar generated. We also need 500 megawatts of demand response. That's a way we can turn energy off, reduce use when the demand's real high. We need to double our energy efficiency. That's the efficiency programs. It's everything from high efficiency light bulbs, better insulation, all sorts of things that make homes and businesses more efficient at their energy use. And we need to support, over 500,000 electric vehicles by 2030. Remember, the governor talked about moving California toward EVs, away from gas vehicles. There'll be a lot of vehicles here in LA that have to be supported. So in our process of working on this, we had a few things. First of all, we have the LA 100 equity strategy study going on right now. That's about doing this in a fair way, making sure that every sector of society is included, that costs don't get moved from one group to another. And the whole point being that if we're going to go to a clean energy future, we have to do it together, and we have to make sure that it's affordable for everyone. We can't afford to have someone left behind or have the bill of the future foisted from one group onto another. We have to make sure that this all comes out in a fair way so people can afford the energy future that we know we can get to. We also have expanded our FIT program. As the council member said, we went from 150 megawatts to 450 megawatts. So we tripled the size of that program. It's the largest FIT program, feed-in tariff program in the country. And it's the most ambitious. And for us, it's a very critical part of getting the local generation that we need. We've also done FIT Plus, which is basically the FIT program focused in certain areas with energy storage attached to that, so it's battery storage. We have the virtual net metering pilot program, and we've also expanded what's called Power Savers. It's a residential DR, that's demand response program. So that allows residences to be able to respond with their demands by reducing their demands during hot times and get energy credit. And then more DER, that's distributed energy resources proposals, and that's people who may be running some kind of local generation that helps, almost like a microgrid situation that helps us in certain parts of town. And so we want to talk today more about the local solar program that we'd like you to consider becoming engaged with us on. So next slide, please. So the first is the net energy metering program. So we currently have over 62,000 solar installations. Most of those are single family residential. It's 470 megawatts. That's a considerable amount of power. So just from perspective, our peak demand is 6,400 megawatts. I think is a peak hour demand. So it's a pretty sizable amount of power that we're looking to do. But remember, looking to add another 1,000 megawatts of solar on top of this. And this has been used for customers who want to reduce their bill and reduce their energy demand on site, take energy off the roof and reduce their bill. And then the virtual net metering allows that to be sold back to the grid at the retail rate. And so we put special meter on, we track the energy output, and then the people get a retail credit on their bill. And some of the projects, they do qualify for the investment tax credit that helps to reduce the cost of the system. Now, the one thing about this program is people have to pay for that system to be installed up front. And so you may be reducing your electric bill, you're having an investment in your rooftop, and then over time you recoup that payment, that investment that you're making in terms of savings on your electric bill. The next program is the feed-in tariff program. So we have not quite 100 megawatts in service right now for the feed-in tariff. So there's certainly room to grow. We were originally 150 megawatts, now going to 450. And it's for larger systems, 30 kilowatts systems or greater. And this is where, different than a solar rooftop, where you use the power and then you sell excess back to us. The feed-in tariff program is where you let someone build on your roof, and then you get a credit for that and you sell all that power back to the grid. Now, the advantage for us as a utility is that, first of all, we can use that to dispatch to the grid and help reduce the impacts of the power use on the grid, not only for you, but for other customers around you. And for you, you get a pretty healthy price. We pay a good fee per kilowatt hour for the feed-in tariff program. And it allows people who have a larger roof, particularly things like warehouse space and other things, they may not have the on-site energy use, but allows them to generate a lot of electricity, use a third party. A lot of times there's low or no investment, depending on how the financing is arranged with the third party, and you're basically making money on selling power off your roof. And so again, we have the largest FIT program in the country. We're looking to expand that, but it's a way to allow you to generate clean energy, come your own energy company, sell that back to us. We buy all the power from you. The contracts go from a minimum of 10 years up to 20 years. And we have pretty good rates on that. So we're paying on average 14 cents per kilowatt hour back to you as an energy vendor to the city of Los Angeles for us to distribute to all of our customers. The new programs are the Fit Plus pilot, and that's where we add energy storage into the mix. And also the virtual net energy metering, that's the VNM pilot project, and that's to help folks that are in multifamily residential. We go to the next slide, please. So looking at the FIT benefits program, so if it's, there must be a bunch of bullets on this slide. Go ahead and click them all so we can see them all at once. Okay. So from a developer side, the solar developers are looking for local employment opportunities. A lot of these folks that are local developers, they have very well established programs. They hire locally. A lot of them hire veterans. They're really working in the LA basin to help us expand this solar capability. And there's an investment tax credit that's substantial. That's still available, more available this year than next year, and then the year after that. And so timing is very important. For the property owner, again, it's a chance to monetize your rooftop. So consider your roof an underused asset. It's a way to monetize that, make money off your property, make money off your roof. You can have up to a 20-year revenue stream again, minimum 10 years, up to 20 years. And you play a big part in helping LA get to that 100% renewable energy goal. And so there are definite benefits of this program as a business or apartment owner, different than single family homeowners, because this is a bigger scale project and you're actually selling power into the power grid. Next slide, please. So the next program is looking at the FIT Plus program. So this is a 10 megawatt pilot program. And so we basically did this program to try to see how energy storage would fit into the mix. When you do energy storage with solar, what you do is you're basically able to extend that sunlight hour. So normally the sun goes down, you're stopping to generate energy. If you have storage there, then you basically can get anywhere from 2 to 4 more hours of effective sunlight by having that battery feed into the system. The other advantage of this is that when there's an outage, we're looking for people to be able to use that stored energy on their own site so that they're more resilient in case there is a power outage. We currently have about 5 projects underway. Just to scratch at the surface, not quite 20% of the 10 megawatts. So we have a lot of room for expansion here. This again allows us to see how storage works out. So people who are looking to do this kind of co-location of storage as well as solar, it's a great pilot project. We're paying the fee for interconnection costs because for us, this is a great experiment for us to figure out how this works in our system. Ideally, this program will grow in the future and we'll continue to expand throughout the city. But this is a very good way to engage us, to get not just solar on top, but also to provide this battery storage, make your solar stretch further, and take advantage of being part of the initial crowd to really work on this pilot with us to see how it applies to the city. And so, for us, for our standpoint, so you understand why we're so interested, we're looking at focused locations where it's helping eliminate the need for system upgrades, maybe places where we have a lot of energy use and those peak periods when the sun's going down and people are getting home. It helps us a lot to have stored power come back in the system, and it helps a lot with reliability. And so it'll help a lot with reliability at your own business as well as on the grid overall. And so, this is something we're excited about. It's a new program for us. I'm hoping it's of interest to you. And so this is, something that was not offered a year ago. I think we offered this starting last April, I guess we came about with it, but during COVID, there has been a lot of uptake, obviously. So it's something that we hope we can get your interest in. So next slide, please. I think it's the last slide. One other thing on the last program I meant to mention, this slide is fine. We also have a program, we call it CAMR. It's a long thing. It's comprehensive. I'm going to say the name. It's basically for multifamily, residential, and other businesses to help retrofit buildings. And it's a program where we provide we provide expert professional advice and design skills and skills at getting loans and grants. We do a substantial rebate on work that's done, but basically to modernize a building, upgrade it, make it more energy efficient, and we engage hand in hand. These are bigger scale projects, but something that we offer this technical assistance on. It's called the CAMR program, and it would go great hand in hand with solar and energy storage projects. So it's a chance to modernize your building, upgrade it, take advantage of the expert resources that we're making available and that we're paying for. And and basically you'd make an investment and we'd also make an investment through the rebates in your building, bring your building up to speed for the future. And there's $75 million available in those programs, particularly focused on places where there's low income housing. And so a lot of investments to be made in this arena in the next few years. And so one of the most important things that I look at with all this is that there's huge opportunities to us to engage together. The area that Councilmember Rodriguez represents is solar rich. It's an area that's great for us to integrate resources into our system. It's an area that we think has a lot of qualifying structures for these programs. And so we hope that you'll really take this offer seriously. Think about it, about joining with us. We have our folks on board here, not just our call center. We have, I think we have the next slide. Next slide, you can put it up. It has the phone numbers for how to get in touch with us. Michael Buck, who's one of our technical experts, is online as well to answer questions. But if you have a question, if you're curious, if this has piqued your interest at all, please call us. We have a whole staff that's dedicated to this work. Let us know that you're interested. If you have a developer you want to work with, have them call us. Or if you want to know who's out there to work with, have them call us. It costs nothing for us to sit down and go through with you on what the possibilities are for your building, what can be done, what we can invest, what it would do to your bills, what the income stream would look like. It's a worthwhile thing, but we need your help. If we're going to get to a clean energy future for the city of LA, we have to do it together. We definitely need your assistance. And so please contact us, reach out. Let's get together. Let's talk with our experts about what we can do for you, how you can help the city of LA in the future. I think it's a fantastic partnership. It's a great opportunity. I know we have a couple of solar companies online that work very well in the space that we're very familiar with working with. And so I think there's great opportunity, and I hope that you are interested and at least make that first effort, reach out to us and let us help us see how we can work together in the future. So with that, I'd like to thank you very much for your time. And I'm going to turn it over to Joseph Pekarovic. He is with PCS Energy, and he's an expert in this area. So Joseph, take it away.
I was muted, so at least I know. I know solar. I just don't know very much. Anyways, how are you, Marty? Thank you much for the introduction. we've been working with LADWP for years, and I also want to thank Mary and her team. Ariel and Adam have been doing a great job supporting everything that we're doing, along with Councilmember Rodriguez's office. So let me first of all, like I said, Marty's talked about the solar, the net meter, and he's gone through all the details. One of the things I want to spend a little time is on the ground. What happens? PCS Energy is really part of PCS development. We've been developing and own many apartment buildings in the area. The way we got involved was that we decided to do solar on our own buildings about 10 years ago. And so my partner, Paul Jennings, and I, the founders, were both engineers. And once you look at your roof, you want to know what to do with it. You know, you can't do too much with the roof. But once we started putting solar on it, we found that our power bills went to zero in almost all our buildings. Now, remember, we're talking about common area. There's other programs from virtual net metering that allows you to give energy to your tenants. But right now, we're talking about two things: the feed-in tariff, as Marty well explained, and also the net meter. So most of our buildings are net meters. However, if we have spare capacity on our roofs, we do talk about, and we do have fit programs on some of our buildings. Let me go ahead and do some screen sharing here, Ariel. So hopefully everybody can see that. Somebody nod, please, to see if you see that. So hopefully you do. So again, we started putting solar projects on our own buildings. And what's interesting about, and is a lot of people who own apartment buildings and multifamily units in Los Angeles, you find that the word of mouth goes out. PCS has been around for 30 years, as well as a lot of other developers, and we feed off of each other with information. So our management company, Moss & Companies, when they saw that our power bills, because they do a lot of our financial tracking for us, saw that our power bills have gone to zero, their first comment is, hey, don't tell anybody, but LADWP is not charging you. It must be a billing error. No, it wasn't. It was a great program from LADWP that zeroed out our bill. So we went ahead and installed the solar projects on all our buildings, all 30 of our apartment buildings. And in most cases, by the way, don't let solar do everything. If you can use the programs from LADWP to upgrade your LEDs and make your buildings more efficient, go with that also. This isn't a simple one solution for everything. So just a little bit background. PCS has been around for 35 years, and we not only do we do the solar, but we also do EV charging, but we'll get into that a little bit longer. We're part of Lacey. We're one of the original founders of Lacey, along with LADWP, and we're big supporters. We keep forgetting sometimes that we live in the city that does more solar and more EV chargers and more almost anything than anybody else. Marty did mention that LADWP on the FIT programs pays up to 14 cents. If you look around the state, the competing companies that aren't municipal utilities, they're paying 3, 4, 5 cents. I mean, 14 cents isn't a little number. It's a big number that really makes a statement about the city's and LADWP's commitment to make these programs work. We have some great relationships with local labor, IBW 11. This is a picture of our team that we took around Christmas. We're a majority-minority company, and I think we have employees from almost all the council districts all around Los Angeles. We've done commercial properties, we've done multifamily, and as we'll go through this project, through this program, we'll see how many large solar feed-in tariffs and net meters we've done. Hopefully you guys have some questions for me after this is said and done. We've done solar and EV chargers for all these companies. As you can see, it's a whole host of companies from all around the city, and also all great business partners. Here's just a quick snapshot. We've done over 250 apartment buildings in the city of Los Angeles. Forget about commercial warehouses and things like that. And in most cases, and first of all, we don't just show up, LADWP and DBS wouldn't let us do it anyways, but we show up, we do full engineering on the roof. If, as Marty had mentioned, we're going to be putting a system on a feed-in tariff for 20 years. So we're going to make sure that roof is well coated, well protected, and can last for 20 years. So we're not just going to look at your roof and say, okay, that'll do. Let's we do silicone, we do TPO, we do whatever it takes to make sure that roof can last for 20 years. So again, quite a lot of experience. You're not going to be a guinea pig in any of this within the city of LA if you own an apartment building. Here are some feed-in tariffs we've had up. You can see on the top left, we have One Generation. They actually use it for their Sunday farmers market. It's great shading. They love it. Western Jet, which is in Van Nuys. We have some in Van Nuys. I forget how many we've done, but it's getting close to 8 megawatts that we've done out there. Gelb Enterprises, which is another great partner of ours, has committed their roofs to doing some solar net meters and some fit projects. I know that we had mentioned earlier about the 10,000 EV chargers that were installed in the city of LA, actually 2 years earlier. Surprisingly, we're about 80% of those. 80% of the EV chargers installed within the city of LA to help us meet. But let me make one comment. I don't know here how many people drive electric vehicle chargers, but public chargers are great. We all like to know that they're out there if we're driving about, but people really don't commit themselves to go to a supermarket or a shopping center to charge their car. They want, your residents and your tenants want chargers where they live. They want to come home at 6 o'clock and they want to leave at 8 o'clock knowing that their car is charged. They also want them at work. So PCS, I think, is a great synergy here with this group, is we're looking to put chargers where your residents live. Because if you have a single family home, it's easy. You just connect it into your garage. When you're an apartment building, you have a common area parking lot, it's hard to put chargers there. We've put about 8,000 of those in there, and we're looking to do about 15,000, be a total of 15,000 by the end of the year. And by the way, the programs that LADWP have provided with their rebates and incentive programs are unmatched in the nation. So anyways, it's a great part. So it's not just the solar and net meter and fits, it's also the EV chargers we're looking to work with you guys on. We have the program Charging, but it's not just us. There's some great programs out there also. Other companies, PCS and Charging, aren't the only companies out there. So, by the way, here's a quick, we've installed, and it says installed 116,000 chargers within Southern California at 947 sites. Of those 947 sites, I would say close to 900 are multifamily buildings. PCS, we've won a lot of awards, but anyways, we'll flip through that real quick. So it makes a lot of sense. One of the things that we want to make sure you know is if you do a net meter, that energy goes into your building and any excess goes to your neighbors. A fit project is once energy is made on your building, it goes to the local grid. As Marty said, local grid. Those electrons that leave your building don't magically go to a grid down in San Diego, and I'm not being facetious. It helps your neighbor. It helps that building next door. Once that energy leaves your building, it's not going far away. It's staying local. It's helping the carbon footprint in the area. It increases property values. And by the way, if you refinance your building and you have solar on there, many of the banking institutions really give a lot of benefit and actually in many cases reduce the interest rate just because you have solar and other sustainability projects on your building. A lot of great reasons to do it, along with one of the things I haven't talked about is the monetization. That's something we'd love to work with you on to explain the benefits. But there really are some great benefits for your neighborhood, your community, and the building and your tenants. So thank you. I don't know if I went over, but if anybody has any questions in the future, love to talk with you all. So I want to take this moment also to hand this over to the Director of Strategic Development for Grid Alternatives, Alex Turek. Appreciate your time and appreciate everybody's time.
That's great. Thank you so much, Joe. And thank you to everyone, especially LABC, for convening this very important webinar about two, really important and successful programs in DWP. Today, I'm here on behalf of Grid Alternatives. We are the country's largest solar nonprofit. installer. So, our mission is really to expand solar access to those who face increased barriers to adopting it, whether financial or otherwise. When new technologies like clean energy, battery storage, solar come out, it's really predominantly high income homeowners or businesses who are able to take advantage, who can afford to invest in these technologies and thus reap the benefits. So our mission is really to kind of flip that on its head and ensure low income homeowners, affordable housing residents, and nonprofit operators and other mission aligned nonprofits can take advantage of solar and battery storage and electric vehicle chargers, so that they can experience the benefits themselves as well. So overall, I'm going to share my screen. Overall, Grid has installed over 20,000 systems and over 75 megawatts of solar, mostly on single-family homeowners. We administer what's called the SASH program for the state of California. If you income qualify, you receive no-cost solar from us. We also administer the SOMA program. So for those outside of the city of Los Angeles, owners of deed-restricted affordable housing, and kind of the sister program to a program that Marty mentioned earlier that's soon to come out in DWP, the CAMERS program. You receive really significant rebates if you're a affordable housing owner. And here's some of the stats that has resulted from those over 75 megawatts of solar installed. And this slide, I'm going to be kind of repeating a lot of what's been said, but really in the context of affordable housing operators. So those who maybe, again, do not have the capital on hand to invest in a solar system, or those who really have to prioritize revenue for the investment that they make. And like Joseph and Marty and others have said, the big difference between the feed-in tariff and net energy metering is really maximizing your rooftop as an asset. So you're really limited with net metering to your common area. So if you have a low common area bill, then your system is going to be pretty small in respect to your rooftop. What the feed-in tariff does is allow you to max out your rooftop. You're not constrained by your on-site consumption. So you can really, like I mentioned, and like has been mentioned previous, transform your rooftop into an asset and a really valuable revenue generator. I think it's a bi-monthly payment that you receive from the utility for the system and the production that you're selling to them. I'm going to go over a quick example of a feed-in tariff project that we did. And really this one was focused on environmental justice. This is with Esperanza Community Housing, an affordable housing nonprofit operator who owns a number of properties in South Los Angeles, including the Alegria property, which, as you can see from this map, was directly across the street from the Allen Coal oil facility, where they were drilling thousands and thousands of barrels per day in a very heavily populated area next to a school. The community was, a really high increase of nosebleeds and headaches and asthma. A very obvious cause was this oil facility that was taking oil out of the ground. We saw this as a really ideal opportunity to contrast the promise of clean energy, the health benefits of clean energy, especially when compared to fossil fuel extraction, and obviously the very real health consequences of that development. We were able to secure a grant from the 11th Hour Foundation and install a small feed-in tariff project. The minimum feed-in tariff project size is 30 kilowatts. This was a 34 kilowatt DC system. Still generates over $10,000 per year. And we reached an agreement with Esperanza Community Housing that a majority of this revenue generation will be going back into the property. They were able to turn a common area room into a computer lab with internet access and free online courses, paid for online courses for the residents. So folks who did not have internet access before, one of their, of the 15 units now is able to access the internet paid for by the feed-in tariff revenue. We did a flip the switch event. We really came in late on as part of a larger community kind of uprising against the oil facility. The happy ending here is that I think last year the oil facility was shut down. So what remains is this solar project still producing clean power, still producing revenue for a really important community organization, and that really kind of shows the promise of solar and the LADWP programs we're talking about today. Overall, looking forward to some of these programs that were mentioned, including the virtual net metering pilot, especially when partnered with the comprehensive affordable housing rebate program that was mentioned earlier. With those two, we really see strong potential if you're a deed restricted affordable housing operator to really access high rebates to offset your bills as well as your tenants' bills. I think the goal of the program is really to expand solar access to low-income renters who face, the greatest barriers to clean energy technology adoption. So excited to hear that program is scheduled to start in June. We're also working with Sunrun, Illum Energy, and again, Esperanza Community Housing to do a behind-the-meter VNEM pilot with a behind-the-meter product from Illum Energy. So again, the goal of all of this is to expand solar access to affordable housing operators, low-income renters. I think that the previous example shows that the feed-in tariff program allows you to do that with the revenue generating capability on site, and as well as these future programs from DWP. So appreciate LADWP and their continued kind of innovation. I think Joseph mentioned it, that feed-in tariff rate is significant and should be taking advantage, and shows really a commitment by the utility to develop and really spark clean energy adoption at commercial sites and local, especially rooftop generation. So appreciate that, appreciate LABC. I know this has been a program that has been heralded by Mary since its beginning. So it's so great to really see the success of this program. I mean, it's really, you saw the stats from Marty, and it's really amazing to see where it's come since its inception. So kudos to all that's been involved. And that's it. If you're an affordable housing developer interested in learning more how to partner with us, please do reach out. We can help you. We can do a free evaluation of your site for electric vehicle infrastructure charging, solar, battery storage, all that good stuff. So please do not hesitate to reach out. And I'll turn it back to the moderator.
All right, we are going to go into questions. All right, Fit Team, this one's for you. What are the barriers for affordable housing properties to install FIT?
Thank you. Some of the barriers for affordable housing. Alex mentioned that it's with our past programs, it's tough to get the benefits of the solar into the hands of the tenants, but that's one of the good things about our BNEM project or program that's been launched, and camera is going to be launched on the 1st of June, we hope, and that would allow us to get that money actually into the hands of the tenants. But with the support of all of the developers online and that are available, you can really install solar on those properties if you really want to.
And I'll just add, I think the affordable housing stock in Los Angeles is generally older, so you'll see kind of aged infrastructure both on the rooftop and the electrical equipment that could require a new roof or an upgraded electrical equipment. But that's what's really exciting about this program coming out from DWP. Like I mentioned, the sister program in IOU territory is the Solar on Multifamily Affordable Housing Program. And that's generated megawatts and megawatts of solar capacity on deed-restricted affordable housing to the benefit of the residents, not just the property owners. So that's, like I mentioned, face by far the greatest barriers to clean energy adoption. And especially in LA, where there's so many renters, it's so important to be able to expand access to those renters. So very excited about that program. And with that program, I think, you know, we'll really be able to overcome kind of the problems that I mentioned, as well as Michael.
If I could chime in, not to to pile on, but to this point, to what Alex said. So you have to realize that almost 2/3 of the people who live in LA do not own their roof. So we have about so 2/3 of the folks who live here are in a house they rent or multifamily residential. So is a large part of the population cannot directly participate in the green energy future. So we're trying to create avenues for everyone to participate if they want to, and we're trying to bridge that gap between the building owners who always have to make the investment versus the tenants who actually pay the power bill. And so if you reduce the power bill, the person making the investment doesn't see the benefit. So we're trying to connect that together so there's a mutual benefit across that. So there's a reason to invest in the building and an actual tangible benefit to your tenants as well.
Great. I know Ronak has already been answering some of the questions, but this is a good one. Is it possible to apply this to a condo complex where each homeowner has their own meter?
Yes, definitely. Talking about the VNM program, definitely. It could be a condo or it could be renters, any multifamily unit.
But what's also interesting, I completely agree with that. You can add it to the individual. However, with the homeowners, everybody gets their HOA bill. I don't know here who has it, but if you can apply it to either the VNM is what you're talking about, or if you put a net meter that connects to a common area bill for the building, you're basically saving energy for everybody. It just lowers their HOA bill.
Great. Can a property owner use the FIT program and also install EV chargers and still get a monthly revenue?
Yes, definitely. If you install the solar, you'll get energy payments for every bit of energy that comes from that system. And you could also install solar on the customer side of the meter and support your EV chargers if you like.
Yeah, let me comment on that a little bit on the EV charger side. Like I mentioned, we put a lot of these EV chargers in multifamily. One of the things we really like to talk to owners about is that we personally believe that EV chargers shouldn't be necessarily a revenue source. Just like we all know what gas costs, people who drive an electric vehicle knows what electricity costs. So we think that it's a great amenity to draw great tenants and also make your current tenants give them the ability to charge their electric vehicle. So I would simply say, yes, you can make revenue on your electric vehicle charging stations, but I would highly encourage not to do that, because if you overcharge them, you might have the tenants look at you just like a laundry machine. If you charge $4 for a load, everybody knows that's expensive. So again, I really like to push forward that EV chargers, I really like to see them as an amenity, not as a revenue source. But granted, if you have any electric vehicle chargers in your building, you will get a lot of great tenants, and it'll eventually help your bottom line anyways. So hopefully that answers part of that question.
Great. And just to clarify, what is the minimum size of a roof that can qualify for the FIT program?
The minimum size of roof, it's the 30 kilowatts in capacity. That correlates to about 2,000 to 3,000 square feet.
Great. What effect do solar panels have on solar heating of roof and attic space, reducing heat load and thereby cooling required for typical house? So yeah, I think they're just asking, what effect do solar panels have on solar heating of the roof and attic space?
Sure, with the solar on top of the roof, you will get less heating, just like with the carports. You can shade a portion of your property to get some relief in the summer.
Would you mind going more into depth with the carports? What kind of properties would benefit more from those? And yeah, I think that would be a good question.
Sure, the carports, again, they supply shading, so it's a multi-benefit for the property. You generally pay a little bit more for carports as opposed to rooftop systems. But anywhere you have the space, you can benefit from the FIT program. If you have the space to install the solar, it's a good option for you to look at.
And maybe two comments. Number one, and on a carport, there's no setbacks where roofs do have about 4-foot setbacks. So you could really condense it. So if you look at a carport, if you look at some of the pictures, the panels are right next to each other and they go to the edge. And so it's a great use of it. Mostly in the Northeast Valley, it gets a little warm there in the summer, to say the least, and your tenants will really look forward to using it. The other thing that's really not talked about is cleaning. The cleaning of carports is a lot more efficient than on roofs. You don't have to have you don't have to bring a hose up there. You can have a mobile car washer go out there and with a little bit, it almost looks like a bucket truck, and you can clean it, and it's done fairly efficiently. So even though carports are more expensive on the front end, long term the maintenance and the cleaning, I think long term pay for themselves, mostly on a FIT project.
And I'll just add an obvious point here. I think if you have a big parking lot and a limited rooftop space, then the carport is likely the better option, and vice versa.
Ariel, I just want to jump in to ask Michael to talk maybe about what one of the solar storage projects look like kind of describe that for why people would want to try to do that. Because I do think that's the future, Michael. So I'm interested, these 5 projects you have, can you just describe even one of them?
Sure, yes, we have a few applications, but the best thing about the solar plus storage is with that storage, you have so many options. You could actually have the benefit of reliability. If there's an outage, you have the option of using that energy during the outage, so you're protected. We have resiliency built into that. We also get a benefit from demand shaving. If you have the option of using that energy from the battery to really save internally and shave off your demand. And you could put energy on the department's grid at times when it's really needed, and you get a benefit. There's a premium for that time when you put that energy on the grid. So it's a really good opportunity for someone who has the space to install battery plus storage and benefit from it over time.
And what's the minimum size on that system, the solar?
That's a 30 kilowatt system.
Got it.
Right. Does the FIT program affect your monthly electric bill?
The FIT program does not affect your monthly bill. All of the energy, as Marty pointed out, goes to the grid, and it does serve you, the customers around you. So it is good for the neighborhood, as I believe Joseph mentioned. So you'll get cash or monetary reimbursement for every bit of energy that comes to the department's grid. So it's not on your bill, but you get it as a check each month.
That's great. And I think we'll do one more question. How do you see behind the meter technologies fitting into multifamily benefits?
How do you see the, could you repeat that?
How do you see behind the meter technologies fitting into multifamily benefits?
Yes, I think even like with our VNEM program, we need to get the benefits into the hands of those on site. And I believe Alex mentioned some projects they have going on with the Loom. They have a technology to do some behind the meter installations. So the options for solar are really expanding. We're being able to touch each portion of our customer base with these solar programs. That's why we have so many. We have something for residential, the single family homes, the commercials, the multifamily dwellings now. So it's really expanding the opportunities for our customers.
Great.
If I could
And-
follow up real quick with what Michael said. So yeah, we don't have any, for the VNIM project, we don't have any formal applications yet. We've had discussions. So there's room on that program. And there is a portion of the proceeds that the occupants would get directly from that program. So if you're curious, like I said, if you're curious and it's interesting and it sounds like something that might want to investigate, or if any of these do, make sure you contact us. Let's walk through the programs together and see what's the best fit for your building.
Great. I think there's one more question, I think for Alex. Are there any special programs designed for nonprofits?
Fortunately, there's not. I think a few years ago, there was a nonprofit rebate program in DWP territory, but that ran out. That being said, we work with a lot of partners that have pre-approved purchase power agreements or lease agreements in place that really help to reduce the upfront cost of solar for nonprofits and help the investor recover costs through savings throughout the life of the project. So if the upfront cost is a concern, there's definitely options available to you to reduce that upfront cost, and very happy to talk with you more about it if you're interested in learning more.
Great. Well, I want to thank everyone for attending today's solar workshop. I hope you all learned so much more about these programs that are available to you. As Marty said, you can reach out to DWP directly to learn more, or if you'd like me to connect you with one of our solar provider members for a free consultation, you can also email me at alopez, A as in Apple, Lopez, at labusinesscouncil.org. I put that in the chat. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're here to help you and would love to help you connect to some solar programs that can help your property. So this will all be on our website. This has been recorded. It will also be on our YouTube channel. So yeah, thank you so much, everyone. And we hope to see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.